Hi folks, I'm Spencer, and on today's episode of Cult Mania, we're back doing rapid reviews. This time for this big red box that I'm pretty sure is just full of Japanese films. Hooray! Oh no, where have I put my phone? Ugh. Can't do rapid reviews without my phone, because then where would I have the timer from? So it's the usual thing. I've not actually looked at definitely what is in the box, but I'm pretty sure these are all Japanese films. I will review each one in 30 seconds because this is a fun way of talking about lots of films. If the box is how I think it is, there's a lot of, I think there'll be a lot of Takashi Miike films, a lot of Sion Sono films, that sort of thing. So is this sort of like a whistle-stop tour of some of my favourite directors? Possibly, maybe, who knows. Let's lift the lid. And yeah, it's pretty much what I thought. Really hope I can remember some of these films. There are a lot of films in this box that I bought when I was doing my dissertation on Japanese extreme cinema. I can already see that there's a few that I didn't watch because I bought far too many, spent far too much money on films. So yeah, that's going to be good. But no, ooh. There are some spicy ones in here though. It's time for rapid reviews. Should really write a theme song for when I do rapid reviews. This is like the 5th or 6th one. Yeah, I should probably do a different intro when I do these special things. Where do we start? We'll start over that way actually. Okay, film number 1. Akira. This is the only anime film I've ever watched, and I've tried to get into anime series, never happened. But Akira, bloody good innit? I love the soundtrack, it looks stunning. I really am tempted to upgrade to the 4K version. I haven't actually stopped thinking about this film since watching it. It's just fantastic really. So much going on visually. I would really like to read the manga actually as well. But no, it's just fab, and I'm just starting to think this alarm hasn't gone off. That's because it's going off now. Akira's great. One Cut of the Dead, fantastic film. I'm not going to tell you too much about it. I mean, One Cut of the Dead sort of tells you a vague idea of what it's like. This is brilliant. This is one of the best zombie films that's come out in forever, really. Again, I really need to buy the newer version that has the sequel, One Cut of the Dead Hollywood edition. Absolutely wonderful. If you have any interest in low budget filmmaking, just filmmaking in general, zombie films, this is a definite must buy for you. Destruction Babies, fantastic title, okay film. It's about this guy that just goes around trying to start fights basically. The fights are all really good because they've got this very sort of naturalistic style, they're very uncinematic, and that can make it quite uncomfortable to watch. So it works in that respect, but it's one of those films where you just hang around with someone who's really not very likeable for an extended period of time, which it doesn't always work in that regard. I found it a bit grating by the end. But it does some stuff very well. Blind Woman's Curse, it's a Meiko Kaji film. It is for the most part. This film has about every single genre you can have in it. It's funny, it's got horror in it, it's got Yakuzas in it, it's got, it's a period piece. Some stuff in this is really awesome. It kind of loses its way in the middle. That's mainly because Kaji disappears for a huge chunk of the film and then sort of pops up again at the end. It has a really unsatisfying ending, but visually it's really, really striking, and it's got a pretty good soundtrack from memory. But no, entertaining. The two Lady Snowblood films, they're both freaking brilliant. She's on my t-shirt, she's on my arm. I love Lady Snowblood, she's brilliant. Both films are really good. The first one's probably the more well-respected one, but the second one's got a lot of action in it. The opening and action sequence in the first one's brilliant. Most people know this because of Kill Bill. It's fantastic. Just watching Meiko Kaji hit people with a sword. What more do you want? Nothing. That's what you don't. What? No. What? No. Brilliant. Really top quality. samurai exploitation-y stuff. In case it didn't show up properly. There, look, she's on me. She's on me permanently, as is female prisoner scorpion. That's good if you've ever wondered what this tattoo was. It's Lady Snowblood, a female prisoner scorpion. Top Knot Detective, a sort of mockumentary about a fake TV show about like a samurai detective. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. It's got some quite, you know, poignant moments about failure and creative failure. So it has a bit more wallop to it, but there is a lot of really fun stuff. If you like sort of Japanese TV from the 60s and 70s, there's a lot to appreciate. I guess probably later as well. No, it's entertaining. Funeral Parade of Roses. I adore this film. It is brilliant. It's about transvestites in Japan. It's got documentary bits in it. It's one of the most experimental films. It was a huge influence on Clockwork Orange. It's fantastic. One of the best subculture films you can find, yeah. Absolutely wonderful. Peter in this is a star. Most people know him from Ran. No, it's an absolutely brilliant experimental piece of cinema that doesn't feel cold in its experimental nature. Excellent. I really shouldn't do these in the summer in this room. It's so hot. Branded to Kill, Sujin Suzuki, the film that got him blacklisted. It's mental. It's got Joe Shishida in it with his lovely cheeks. It's not my favourite of their films, especially not Sujin Suzuki's. That'll be up next. But it's got a lot of great stuff in it. It's got a lot of bizarre, very strange moments in it. It's just, I mean, it's bizarre, and it earns its reputation of being so bizarre that it got him blacklisted, basically. Edited in one day, apparently, which is ridiculously impressive because it doesn't look like it. Oh no, everything fell over. Tokyo Drifter, my favourite Sujin Suzuki film, one of the coolest films ever. It's got singing in it, it's got shooting in it, it's got jazzy costumes and bizarre, unnatural set design. It's just wonderful, really. Anyone who wants to start getting into bizarre Yakuza films from the sort of 60s and 70s, this is a fantastic starting point. This was my sort of starting point, really. Just effortlessly cool, great soundtrack, looks amazing. You can't go wrong. Detective Bureau 2-3 Go to Hell Bastards. Brilliant title. Okay film. It's very enjoyable. It's another Sujin Suzuki one. It's got Joe Shida in it. It looks great. It's got an okay plot. It's a bit more. It's more like a police one. It doesn't have perhaps the harder edge that some of the others got. I mean, it's only 12, but it's got cool scenes with like Yakuza on trucks. I always love that. It's got some decent shootouts. Got a little bit too much slapping of women. That's not great, but it's an entertaining film. If you are a fan of things like Tokyo Drifter and other Sujin Suzuki or other Yakuza films from the 60s and 70s, I'm currently working on a film that is based on those sorts of things. So hopefully I will have something very exciting to tell you about soon, i.e. a Kickstarter. Selfless, completely self-centered plug over. We are about to enter a little fantastic section on one of my favourite directors of, well, one of my favourite directors now, still working now. This is going to be good. In fact, I'm going to have a drink first. Tetsuo 1, Tetsuo 2. Oh no, that didn't work. Tetsuo, fantastic. One of the greatest, again, experimental pieces of cinema. So kinetic, so much going on. Huge influence on me as a creative. Brilliant, short as well. Tetsuo 2, bit less good. Actually, I think it's probably one of Tsukamoto's worst films. It just doesn't stick the sort of excitement, the landing that the original Tetsuo does. Isn't as visually interesting, but the first one is so amazing to look at. There is no experience like watching the first Tetsuo. Tokyo Fist, my absolute favourite of Tsukamoto's films, partly because I love boxing, partly there's just something about this. The boxing sequences are amazing. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. It's got the kinetic editing that you know Tsukamoto for. Some of the sort of, I don't know, the interplay between the characters is absolutely fantastic. Just some of the imagery that they get out of this, and not like the boxing stuff, like the stuff with the lady inserting metal into herself. There's something about this that is just wonderful. I can't put it into words. Bullet Ballet. Tsukamoto goes back to black and white and makes another fantastic film. It's about a bloke whose wife shoots herself and he gets obsessed with guns, and that doesn't end well. This is quite a melancholic film. It's still got elements of humour, it's still got elements of excitement, but it's much more downbeat. There's a fantastic montage bit with like when he's building the gun. That's really cool. There's a lady with really lovely hair in it. She looks very cool. She wears a leather jacket and has short hair. No, it's a great film. But yeah, just a bit more downbeat than some of the others. A Snake of June, Tsukamoto's sort of erotic thriller. I wasn't a massive fan of this the first time I watched it, but it's grown on me a lot since seeing it. I've watched it again. Works really well. It's shot in like blue and white rather than black and white. There's a lot of rain in it. There is a lot that I didn't understand about it, like the sort of rainy season and its sort of erotic connotations in Japan. But no, it's a lot better. If you read the plot synopsis, this just sounds like porn, but it's way more than that, and it's great. Kotoko, I haven't seen this one. This is another Shinya Tsukamoto one. I bought all the ones that I could get hold of, but I haven't got around to this yet. Apparently this is great though. Apparently it is also very, very depressing. I do really want to get around to it. I think it's just when someone tells you a film's depressing, it's really hard to motivate yourself to watch it, but I will definitely give this a go. It feels like a time to that. I'm not as keen on Tsukamoto's digital age. I don't think digital suits his style as well, but I'll get onto that in the next one. Fires on the Plain, Tsukamoto's remake of the, I don't know when the first one came out. It's about soldiers in World War II that have just sort of been left, it's like the end of World War II, and they've just been left in the jungle. Incredibly, incredibly bleak. This is not a film to watch if you're having a bad day, but it is very good. This is my favourite of Tsukamoto's sort of digital age films, and I think it is really, really special. There's a shooting sequence in this that is just nightmarish in the best possible way. Really nails this sort of horror of war. It's a war film and a horror film, easily. This Tsukamoto triple bill thing that has Haze, Killing, and The Adventure of Denshu Kozo, which is also in the Tetsuo box. I wasn't particularly taken with Killing, but I've read things since that I really need to go back and watch it again, because I think I was just in the wrong mood for it. I don't think I was particularly expecting it to be what it was. Haze is great though. It's a short film about a bloke who's sort of trapped in a space. It's really good. It's really good 40 minutes-ish, I think. Okay, that's the Shinya Tsukamoto sequence ended. Blue Spring, another film that I haven't seen, but I keep meaning to, again, I've read that it's a bit depressing. I've had this for quite a while and not watched it. Hopefully doing this video will make me watch it. It's about like teenagers who are violent, because Japan loves a film about like violent teenagers. But no, I really need to get around to watching this. I'm not going to waste any more of your time holding this here. Yes, I am. Ooh. Now we can either do the Takashi Miike section next or the Sion Sono section next, and then I can do some other bits in the middle. We will do Sion Sono next. Love Exposure, 4 hours of absolute brilliant cinema. It's got everything you could want. It's got funny bits in it, it's got really gory bits in it, it's got really freaky bits in it, it's got a bloke dressed like Meiko Kaji in Female Prisoner Scorpion. It's got everything in it. It is 4 hours though. It's definitely worth watching, don't let the time put you off. I watched it in two-hour sections over 2 days, and that was a great way to do it, because I think it might have gotten me tits otherwise. But no, it's fantastic. It's got, yeah, like I said, it's got everything in it, and it's a great way to learn why Sion Sono is a fantastic director. Cold Fish, the one Sion Sono out of the trilogy, because this goes with the next one, and Love Exposure. I've not watched this one again because it's supposed to be really depressing. I bought this when I was doing the my degree, and I think I'd found my films by the time I got around to this. So again, I will have to watch it. I've heard this is really, really good though. I've heard it is also quite unpleasant, but that's always good. You can't have too many unpleasant films. Guilty of Romance. All right from memory. Not one to watch. I mean, there's a lot of sex and a lot of boobs and stuff in this. There's also quite a lot of unpleasantries in it. It's far too long, way too long, and I really lost interest by the end. But no, it's one that managed to make stuff that could quite easily feel erotic feel really, really uncomfortable, and that works really well. Like I said, it's like 2.5 hours long, and you do not need 2.5 hours of this film. HIMIZU, another one I've not watched, unfortunately. Again, because this just looks like it'll soul destroy me. I really don't know anything about this. This was just, again, Sion Sono films aren't the easiest to get in this country, same with Shinya Tsukamoto films. You can really only get the ones that Third Window have put out. So I've bought all the ones I can get. I just need to get around to watching this. Again, I think it's quite long. It's only just over 2 hours. Again, I'll get around to it at some point. But I needed to get all the ones I could. Tokyo Tribe, the film that introduced me to who Sion Sono was. It wasn't the first film of his I saw. But I read that this was a battle rap musical. And I went, yes, that is something I need. The soundtrack to this is fantastic, actually. I'll play it quite a lot. Yeah, it's a musical in which people rap at one another in Japanese, and then a bunch of people wear stupid hip-hop outfits and have fights and shoot at people. Again, it's got some quite heavy moments in it, but it's excess to a fantastic level. Tag, another Sion Sono film. This is the first one I watched, actually, and it's a great introduction because it's quite short. It's not particularly heavy. It's got some decent themes going on in it. Again, don't read too much about it because there's some stuff that will happen that you'll go, what? But no, very entertaining. Not one of his best, but I think it is a great entry point. One of his newer ones as well. It's really easy to get hold of. More so than a lot of his films. The Whispering Star. It's rated U. That's not what you expect from Sion Sono. It's his sort of weird sci-fi, black and white, odd, more mood piece. This is worth owning if you're a Sion Sono fan. The Blu-ray is because it comes with a documentary all about him making it called The Sion Sono or something. But no, it's a good one. Again, you're not gonna. If you're a fan of the other ones, you're not necessarily going to like this. Very different. It's that weird thing where Japanese directors will direct anything. And I think that's a great thing. I don't say that as weird as in a bad thing. I wish more directors in the West would be open to working on a huge variety of projects rather than just being an action director, a horror director, a weirdo director. Anti-porno. I didn't get this at all when I watched it. Again, I watched it for my degree. I feel like I would get it a lot more now because I watched this before I'd done all my research into sort of pink films in Japan and understanding them, because I think you need a knowledge of it as a concept to really understand what's going on. So I will have to try this again. But at the moment, it's quite low down on the Sion Sono pile. HIMIZU, the first film I reviewed on this channel. I absolutely adore this film. It's mad. It's absolutely bizarre in all the best ways. It has a really great / irritating soundtrack. It has stupid characters. It looks awesome. It's just got everything going for it, really. No, everyone should watch House because there's nothing quite like it. And it'll either annoy the living shit out of you or you'll think, bloody hell, this is great. ONIBABA, the film with all the grass in it. No, it's a fantastic, spooky sort of vaguely supernatural story of lust, and this isn't how I do reviews. It's great. It looks absolutely stunning. Some of the best black and white photography you can find in any film. Some fantastic contrast lighting in this. Got some really quite distressing, intense scenes. Just watch it. It's brilliant. Quaidan, I've not watched this either because it's 3 hours long. I'm really embarrassed that I've not watched this. Again, I've had it for ages. It's Japanese ghost stories. I mean, what more do you want? I really don't know why I've not watched it. It's just so bloody long. And yeah, I really should have watched it by now. This is really embarrassing. The vampire... Oh, shit. The Bloodthirsty trilogy, featuring the vampire doll, Lake of Dracula, Evil of Dracula. Sort of... You know when Hammer went a bit modern? It's a bit like that, but in Japan. They're alright. They're nothing special, but there are far worse ways to spend your time. They're quite short, entertaining. They visually look great. They're just quite empty. I don't think there's much to really latch on to apart from the visuals, which okay, perhaps a good film to put on in the background so you're not massively paying attention, but it's pretty. The Miike section. Black Society trilogy. Love Shinjuku Triad Society. Was quite disappointed by Rainy Dog. I finally got round to watching Ley Lines and it was fine. Shinjuku Triad Society is great. It's Miike's first film. It's so intense. It has this fantastic sequence in which a bloke runs after a car for about 10 minutes and it's great, and the soundtrack's really good, and it's got so much gratuitous bumming in it, like literally so much. It's weird, but no, I mean they're all worth watching, but Shinjuku Triad Society for any Miike fan is worth seeing because it's his first film, but I mean it's a really good one as well. Audition, the film that introduced me to Japanese cinema, let alone Japanese extreme cinema. What is there to say about Audition that hasn't already been said? Not much really, because it's fucking brilliant. It's got some of the most iconic moments in Japanese cinema. The way it just completely changes tone halfway through is fantastic. It's the film that made sort of Miike and Japanese cinema huge in the West in the sort of early 2000s. No, masterpiece. Dead or Alive trilogy. The opening of the first one is the best 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I don't know, of any film ever. It's fantastic. Rest of that film, great. Second one, I was a bit less taken with. Third one is dog shit. Looks awful. Is a sci-fi thing that looks like it was made on no money, but Dead or Alive 1, so good. Opening 5 minutes is, yeah, absolutely amazing. More happens in that than happens in some of the other films in this box. It's brilliant. Happiness of the Katakuris has got everything in it. It's got singing, zombies, stop motion-y stuff. It's wonderful. And I don't normally do... this is a fantastic cover. That's probably out of focus. But if you saw this, you would just buy it straight away. And you should, because it's very entertaining. It's Miike just having a lot of fun, cutting loose. Yeah, it's always sold as The Sound of Music meets Dawn of the Dead. And actually, that's pretty spot on. Lesson of Evil, the obligatory one I've not seen. Again, it's very long. But I mean, it looks good. It's got a teacher with a gun. I think that's basically the plot, is like that a teacher starts offing all the naughty kids. Fair. No. Again, this is probably... It sounds like my sort of Miike, because it's not one of the weird like idol films or whatever. So I'm sure it's great, I just need to get round to it. First Love, Miike's 102nd film or whatever. Starts off quite slow, feels like a very just generic sort of Yakuza-y film, but once it gets about halfway through, once you see the naked weird bloke dance on the subway, it's like it goes and it doesn't look back and it gets fantastic and then runs for about 5 minutes too long. But no, it's great, and the fact that, you know, it's his 102nd film and it's still top tier, he's pretty impressive, really. Yeah, it's great. It's got boxing in it as well. Brings me back to Tokyo Fist. And there we go. We got through it. We got through the blocks. I always end up really hyper at the end of these. I don't know why. I think it's because I just talk non-stop for like half an hour. But no, I'm a bit disappointed, really. There are quite a few in here that I've not got around to watching, and I really should have, because they're by people that I love. You know, the three directors that we properly went into, Shinya Tsukamoto, Shion Sono, and Takeshi Miike, are some of my favourite directors. I need to see more Shion Sono stuff. I was a bit let down by the thing he did on Netflix. That was a bit disappointing, because it just felt like a sort of whistle-stop tour of everything that he'd ever done. But I'm getting sidetracked, because I could talk about Suicide Club as well. But no. Let me know down in the comments what you think of these films. I love pretty much everything in here, so give me some recommendations, and yeah, like and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and I shall see you next time.